Good morning, guys. My name is Sarah. If you are new here, hello and welcome. Today I'm doing this voiceover outside while my kids play because it's nice out this morning, and this is pretty much the only time I have to do a voiceover. But anyway, we're decorating for fall today. Very simple. I put some pillows and a blanket on the couch. I have a rug in the kitchen. Don't judge my dirty floors. I have this garland stuff that I'm going to put on my banister. And a quick note, nothing that I'm showing today for my decorations I bought this year. I have had all of this stuff for multiple years. I don't think I even bought anything last year, so everything is at least 2 years old. So I'm just here to be an average mom that decorates her home because I like to do it, but I'm also here to tell you that you don't have to buy new decorations every year. You don't have to go crazy overboard. You can use what you have. I didn't even use everything that I have, so then maybe next year I will rediscover something I didn't use and I'll be happy with it. A lot of the decorations that I have to put out today are decorations that I bought when my husband and I were both working and we didn't have children. So when we had more disposable income. As we enter the holiday season and you start to see people on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or wherever start to decorate their homes, and they have all of these fall decor or Christmas decor hauls, and they have all of this beautiful stuff, and you feel inadequate. Don't feel inadequate, I promise. I've been kind of on like a rant and a tangent about that lately, about like just being a normal person and not feeling like you have to keep up with everything you see on social media because it is fake. And a lot of those people are making money on social media and then purchasing this decor and then getting a tax write-off, if I'm being honest. So use what you have. If you don't want to decorate for fall, don't decorate for fall. I decorate at the beginning of August because I like my fall decorations. Don't decorate until November if you don't want to. Totally up to you, but definitely don't feel like you have to buy new things. Anyway, I added some little fairy lights to that banister, and then I'm moving on to the living room. And when I decorate, I don't have a plan beforehand, and I also didn't want to wait until I had it figured out to show you. I wanted to show you the actual process I go through. So I knew I wanted the little runner on there, but I wasn't sure about what to put on top. And then I thought of things I could put on the lamp stand. And then as I was doing that, I just kind of kept thinking like, no, that doesn't look right. No, I don't really like that. Let me try something else. And I just went back and forth. I don't know. For maybe 20 minutes, it took me to decorate the house. And there were times that I put everything out like right now, and I just then went and took it all away because I didn't like the way it looked. And since this night that I decorated, I then went back around my house and added more stuff and moved stuff around and just made it how I guess like the most comfortable for us. Moving on into the bathroom, I had all of this, like these floral picks, and normally I would put these in my white pitcher that I had put my 4th of July stuff in, but I have this candle holder that I don't really ever use for candles, and I thought it would look really pretty filled with all of this floral stuff, so I did put it in there. I had to break a couple of the stems, but it looks fine. And then here's just what I all put out. I had those shelf things, a rug, I have a few towels, a couple things on my table, this little, I don't even know what that is, up there on the hutch. This is the final look of the table here that I couldn't figured out the lamp, so I ended up putting these two things over there, and then I put other pumpkins down on the bottom shelf later. This was like 2 days later that I finally did that. I have the little cotton thing, the blessed pumpkin over here, and those coasters are out all the time. And then my pillows on my very stained couch and this blanket. I bought that blanket 7 years ago. This is what the banister looks like when it's dark and the lights are on. I will say it's been a couple weeks since I decorated as I'm filming this or doing this voiceover, and the batteries and the lights have already died, so don't know what I'm going to do there. But I put a couple things in my office. You saw this in the bathroom, and then I did add a couple things to the top of the shelf that is up over, like above the toilet area in the bathroom. And then because it's not a really long video with just the fall decorations. I mean, this video isn't long in general, but I just didn't have a lot to share, so I figured I'd share with you a dinner recipe as well. This is a homemade pizza, and I'm using a cauliflower gluten-free pizza crust. I just followed the box directions. It did say to let that like yeast mixture sit for 25 minutes. So that's what that's doing as I'm cutting things up. Anthony was gone this night. He was working, but my mom came over for dinner. And so I decided to do onions and garlic on top. If I would have had jalapenos, I would have also put that on there, but I did not. So just getting everything going while that yeast is rising. And then back to the dough, you just I used half of the mix, which was about a cup. And then that's what that yeast mixture looks like. It's so bubbly. It like doubled in size. Mixing that up. And then you also put salt in there. And then I was just scraping the sides down there. This was a very loose dough, not what I was used to when I make pizza dough, but then you cover it and let it sit. It did kind of form up a little bit more, but definitely not a dough that you like touch with your hands. As you can see, it reminded me, I've never made a sourdough crust, but I've seen people make a sourdough crust. So I just poured it into my cast iron skillet, but it was very loose, so I used a spatula for that. And then I seasoned the crust with garlic salt, garlic powder, basil, and oregano, just because I wasn't sure if the crust actually had any flavor. This pizza turned out delicious. I pre-baked the crust and it did get pretty crunchy. It didn't burn on the bottom, but I did have a hard time cutting it. But I knew my kids would not eat this pizza, so I had some dinner rolls left over from the weekend, and so I just cut them up and made them into little baby pizzas with the bread and then sauce and cheese, which I'll show you in a minute. But I had this roast also left over. That's what inspired this pizza, is we had the roast the weekend before and I saved it, and so I'm taking the roast and cutting it up into pieces and putting it in a pan with some butter. That's going to heat it up a little bit, but also get it just a little bit crispy. And then I do put some barbecue seasoning on there. I just cooked that until it was like crispy and warmed through again. That was literally the only point of putting it into this pan, was to get it warmed up, because the crust is going to pre-bake, and then when you put all the toppings on, it's really just to melt the cheese. And so I wanted to make sure everything was actually warm. And then going back to those pizzas, so I had some of my homemade pizza sauce still, and so I just put a little bit of the sauce on there. Actually almost didn't have enough, and then just shredded cheese on there, and I put them in the oven when I put the pizza in, just to warm it through and get the cheese melted. And I mean, one of my two kids ate it. The other one I think just didn't want to eat that night. Just an idea for kiddos, if you have leftover rolls, this would be a good lunch idea for them too. And then for the sauce, I originally planned on making an Alfredo sauce, completely forgetting that the base of Alfredo has flour in it. So I decided to do a cream cheese sauce. So I have half a block of cream cheese, butter, and milk in this pot, and then I added in some dry ranch seasoning and just melted that all together until it was like not clumpy anymore. Warmed through all of those things. This is the crust after it pre-baked. So just pulling it out now to get all of the toppings on it. So putting this sauce on there, and that actually ended up being the perfect amount of sauce with the half a block of cream cheese. So that was great. Adding on the toppings, again, I did some garlic, some chopped onions, adding the beef to the top, and then a little bit of barbecue sauce, and then the shredded cheese. Then I put it in the oven for like maybe another 5 minutes. So whatever the package for the crust said, I baked it 5 minutes, about less than what it had said, and then put the whole thing back in with the toppings on for the remaining 5 minutes. After it came out, I did put a little more barbecue sauce on the top as well. This is what the little pizzas looked like for my kiddos. And then this is what the barbecue beef pizza looked like when it was all done as well. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was a quick little video, but sometimes that's just how life is. There's not a whole lot going on, and so I thought I would share. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.